Hello everyone, this is Christine and welcome back to my channel. Today is kind of exciting. I'm doing something a little bit different, something I haven't done before. I'm going to try to transpose Down to the River to Pray, which is an old folk song that I printed from the app Piano Marble. And if you watched my recent video where I try singing the song, you will be able to tell that it is a bit too high for my voice. And so I wanted to lower the entire song by a couple notes, so play it in different key, essentially. And so in order to do that, I have purchased blank sheet music off of Amazon. I'll put the link in the description below if you're interested in doing something like this. And this is just, you can see piano sheet music. It's got the treble clef and the bass clef. And I'm going to see, my first time doing this, if I can transpose this down to a lower key. Okay, so to start, I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at the existing piece of sheet music, which I can see is in the key of G major. It has one single sharp at the top there, and that is an F sharp. And this is important to know because as we transpose it down, we need to make sure we include the right sharps and flats. So we're in the key of G with one F sharp, which would be, so it's not just all white keys in this case. So I'm gonna find out what the first note is in the version of the song that I wanna sing, which is a bit lower. Let's take a look. I have the song pulled up on my phone, and I just wanna listen to that first note. And the version I'm using, I'm actually on Spotify at the moment, and it is by Alison Krauss. You can find it on YouTube as well. As I went. As, that's my first note, as. You can see the D that the current version is starting on is too high. As. Let's listen again. As I went. As I went, as I went. Let's see, does that sound right? As I went down in... Okay, I think that is much closer than what I have right now. So the version that I downloaded online, which is in the key of G, starts on a D, and I believe the version that I want to play starts on a B. And I think these are my first three notes. So instead of going D, to E to G, I'm gonna go B to C sharp to E. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and write down these first few notes here on my sheet music. And then I'm gonna figure out what key this is, put in my key signature, and shift the rest of my notes. There we go. So we're gonna start, here is my C here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I will show you afterwards. So we're starting on a B, just below middle C. And looking at my existing, that is an eighth note. Just draw my little flag here. All right, and then I said I went from B to C sharp. Now this song also has no accidentals, which are like sharps or flats, within the song. So it follows just the notes that are in the key. So I'm gonna assume it's gonna be the same for when I move into this key. Luckily I'm doing this with a pencil, and there's our C, and this is gonna be a C sharp, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the sharp sign on here. Now, if you've ever looked at the circle of fifths, it's never just gonna be a single C sharp. The first sharp is always an F sharp. So we at least have an F sharp here and a C sharp. I probably didn't leave enough room in the key signature here, but I know I have at least two sharps in my key. Okay, show you guys what this looks like so far. So I put in the two sharps because I assume there's at least two here, and then I've got my rest and my first three notes based on what I just played on my keyboard. Next up, we're gonna add the E, which is in a new bar. So we'll draw our bar line here, and we're gonna put in our E. Okay. Let's continue playing here. Now, in the original version that I have, it went from G up one to A, but I'm now on E. And so the next note up would be F, which I would think would be my next note, but because I have an F sharp, it's actually going to be F sharp likely. So let's try that out. Okay, so now we've found that our A has moved down to become an F sharp. Studying. And the next note here after the A is a B, which is 2 half steps or 1 whole step above the A. So I'm gonna go from F sharp up 2 half steps to get to the next note here. So it's studying about that good away. Okay. I think I've got my next couple of bars here. So it's going to be 3 F sharps, and then we actually also have a G sharp here. So let's write those in. All right, so there's kind of our first half phrase, I guess you could say. And now we're gonna move on and put in those other notes I just figured out, which were F sharp. And we've already got the sharp in the signature, so I don't have to write that in. We have 3 of those, and then we have our G sharp. Now, we need to put this sharp in the signature because it's all part of the same key signature. And I just have my little cheat sheet here. Okay, so just to show you guys what I'm working from, I'm just on Wikipedia looking at the different key signatures here. And so a G sharp is the 3rd sharp that you would put in a key signature, and it makes this an A major. I'm sure there's a much faster way to figure this out. There we go. Okay, so let's see if we're in the key of A major or if we're gonna keep going and add even more sharps. I can see why Piano Marvel chose to put this in the key of G major, because it is really just a beginner, maybe a little intermediate song. And if you have all these sharps, it starts to really complicate things if you're a beginner player. All right, so our next note here is again going to be an F sharp. So I'm approaching the end of this first line here. And these are just the same notes that we've already played, which makes it really easy. So the next one is an E. And there we go. So we have the end of our first line of music transposed down. So a lot of the rest of this song is the same notes. So I'm just gonna keep writing and then we're gonna try it out at the end. Okay, so now I've hit a note that I haven't seen yet before, and that is, in the original version, it is a B below middle C, but I need to shift it down somewhat. So I have moved every note down two half steps essentially. So the whole song is just coming down 2 half steps. So that makes it really easy. So if it was a B, I just need to look at my keyboard here and go down 2 half steps. And so it's going to be an A, low A. I say it's a low A, but I'm not so sure I'm right there. It's not 2 half steps. It's 3 half steps. Ah, yeah, okay. Correction, it's actually 3 half steps the entire song is going down. So if it was a B, it's going to be my G sharp again, which makes sense because my higher B also became a G sharp. So that's another way to make sure you have the right note. Okay, we have what is essentially the first verse of the song now, transposed down 3 half steps from the key of G major to the key of A major. I'm gonna go ahead and try playing this. Now, there's obviously more to do here because we have the bass line to do and we have the other notes on the treble clef that aren't the melody, so the rest of the harmony. But I just wanna see how it's coming along. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? God, Lord, show me the way. That's that sounds so much better than before. Again, if you heard the version I played that I got from Piano Marvel, I squeak at the high notes, so this is a great improvement. All right, I'm gonna pause the video now and move all the notes of the song down the 3 half steps onto my blank sheet music, and then we'll come back and try this again. Okay, so to recap, the original version on the left was in G major, and my new version here has been transposed down to B major. So we went from having 1 sharp, keeping it relatively simple, to having 5 sharps, making it a bit more complicated to play. But as far as actually writing the notes down, it was very simple. I just shifted every single note down 1 step, basically. So if it was on a space, I moved it down 1 space below it. If it was on a line, I moved it down 1 line below it. So the transposing was quite simple. I used my piano to make sure I had the right accidentals, because when you shift keys, it's not a direct from a white key to a white key, because there are not the same number of white keys on the piano as black keys. So, okay, so my original scale in G major, just the 1 black key. And now we have 4 black keys and 3 white keys, and it's gonna be starting in E. So we skip over this 3rd black key here, and we're gonna be using E natural, A natural, and B natural. All right, so now let's compare the 2 pieces and the way they sound on the piano. This is the original version from Piano Marvel. Okay, not a perfect rendition, but you get the idea of the key. Now let's go ahead and play the transposed version, which I can sing to. Okay, now since I'm still working on this, let's run through it 1 time slowly in our new transposed key of E major, just with the right hand. Got my finger just a little messed up there. Okay, so that's not too bad for a first run through. I'm still getting used to this key and which black keys and which white keys to use. But overall, I would say this is an excellent exercise in a whole bunch of areas of music theory. So through doing this, I had to do things like look up key signatures, remember my note names, think about note durations and the terminology for different pieces of the sheet music, which I can't always remember. And overall, I think this is something I will definitely try to do again, because it did trigger a lot of areas of music theory that I feel like I've probably completely forgotten, since I don't normally really have to think all that much about things like key signatures. Now, in one of my upcoming videos, I will be playing and singing this song in G major, since it is now in a key that I can sing comfortably. So I hope that you guys will stay tuned for that. I hope you found this exercise helpful and you'll give it a try yourself if you have a piece of music that you really enjoy playing, but maybe is a bit too high for your voice, or perhaps someone has asked you to play it for for them in a different key so that they can sing along. So again, thank you all for joining me today. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, the video that pops up at the end here is a link to a video I did about different ways that you can support YouTubers without having to spend your own money. Please feel free to check that out if you want to further support my channel, and we will see you all next time. Bye!